Resident Evil 2 is an absolute masterpiece of a horror game, not just the gameplay but the story as well. In fact, there's so much going on that a ton of the details are easy to miss, so in this video I'm going to be breaking down the full story and lore of Resident Evil 2. Just like in Resident Evil 1, we're able to choose between two characters. For this video specifically, I'm going to start with Leon's story. But the story doesn't end with just him. After beating the game with either character, you unlock something called Part B. Here the game shows you what happens in Part A just from the other character's perspective. It might not seem that important, but trust me, it is. So if you do enjoy this video or even find it helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. It would help the channel out a lot. Now, before we meet Leon or Claire, the game opens with someone else. We are met with a truck driver hauling oil through the Arklay County. While driving, he's listening to a radio show where a man retells a strange story. After a night out, this man spots a woman and she starts to approach him. She was walking weirdly, so he just assumed that she was drunk. But when she got close enough for him to see her face, he noticed something was off. Her eyes, her nose, her whole face looked like it was rotting. Just as the story was getting to the good part, the radio started cutting out. The trucker tries to fix his radio and he takes his eyes off the road. All of a sudden, a woman walks across the road and he doesn't see her in time. After slamming on the brakes, the woman's body is flung onto the road. The trucker then makes the huge mistake by going to check on her. With a combination of shock and grief, he doesn't know what to do. While his back is turned, we see the lady stand up again, proving that she was already dead. We don't get to see it happen, but the trucker is attacked and somehow makes it out. Don't worry though, we'll see him again very soon. We then cut to a man driving towards Raccoon City. In his passenger seat are some papers from the Raccoon City Police Department. He pulls into a nearby gas station and we finally get to see the person driving. It is none other than our main character, Leon Kennedy. Almost immediately after looking around, he knows something is off. He notices lights are off and an empty police vehicle is parked out front. A crash is heard from inside the gas station and Leon decides to go and investigate. We find an employee of the gas station and he's bleeding from his neck. He doesn't talk to us, he just points to the back and we continue forward. In the back room, we find an officer trying to detain somebody. We accidentally distract him and the man being detained jumps onto the officer. Without a second thought, he bites into the officer's neck and it's revealed that the man is already gone. Our escape door is now locked and we have to find another way out. Lucky for us, Leon is able to find a key that lets us out of the back room. The gas station is now covered in zombies and we have to dodge our way out. We make it to the front door of the gas station and we are met with a woman in a red jacket. The two are completely surrounded and Leon spots the police car from earlier. They both rush inside and drive away as quickly as they can. Rightfully so, they are both confused about everything that had just happened. We find out that this woman's name is Claire Redfield and her brother is also a cop, just like Leon. Now, if you've watched my Resident Evil 1 video, you know that the last name Redfield is very familiar. Claire's brother is actually Chris Redfield, but we later figure out that Chris is nowhere near Raccoon City. Inside the STARS office at the RPD, we find a letter that Chris left behind. Chris explains that he has to leave Raccoon City to go and investigate Umbrella. Chris also apologizes for leaving without saying goodbye and asks Claire not to go looking for him. We finally make it to Raccoon City and it's a total mess. Over a loudspeaker, we hear that the RPD is offering supplies to anyone in need. Leon and Claire are then met with a roadblock and we have to now walk to the station. Claire spots more zombies nearby and realizes they aren't the only ones around. The car quickly is surrounded once again and their only way out is blocked. Behind them we see an oil tanker headed straight towards us and it's the same trucker we saw earlier and he's now covered in blood. They try forcing the doors open but the doors won't budge. The truck slams into the two and Leon and Claire are now separated from each other. Thankfully both characters survive but now they have bigger problems. It's far too dangerous to sit around so they agree to meet back up at the RPD. After Leon is able to dodge through crowds of zombies, he finally makes it to the station. Just like the mansion in Resident Evil 1, the RPD is a very iconic building. If you didn't know, the building was used as a museum back in the 1980s. That explains why we see so many statues and weird puzzles everywhere. Fast forward to 1969, the building was officially converted into the RPD. Now let's think for just a minute. It wouldn't be a Resident Evil game without Umbrella somehow being involved. Umbrella was formed in 1968, just 1 year before the RPD was created. In the early 1990s, the mayor released a project that increased funding for the RPD. Funding came from many local businesses and one of them is none other than Umbrella. With all the new funding, they were able to create the Special Tactics and Rescue Service, also known as STARS. The person in charge of the station was Chief Brian Irons. Over time, he was bribed by Umbrella and became corrupt. He would purposely avoid investigating Umbrella and their illegal activities, allowing them to get away with almost anything. The main person providing these payments is William Birkin. He was able to continue his research right underneath Raccoon City. Back with Leon, he has just entered the station and spots a computer. On the computer, he's able to use the security cams and find any remaining survivors. We spot an officer running away from a zombie and he mentions that he found a way out. He also asks for additional help, and lucky for us, he isn't too far away. Now, Leon is one of the few characters in fiction that would actually help anyone in need, even if it means having to walk through a hallway covered in blood with man-eating zombies. We help the officer crawl under a metal door, but he's grabbed from the other side. Being pulled from both sides causes the officer to be split in half. Thankfully, Leon is able to retrieve the journal and use it to find a way out. We head back to the entrance of the station, and when climbing under, a zombie grabs us. We're saved by another officer who says his name is Marvin Branagh. He was recently attacked by a zombie, causing his stomach to bleed a lot. Resident Evil 2 doesn't tell us how he got bit, but if we play the third game, we're able to see what happened. Marvin was being chased by a zombie, and this zombie is actually Brad Vickers. If you don't remember him, he's the pilot that abandoned the Alpha team in Resident Evil 1. Marvin doesn't want to kill Brad, but he has to. He apologizes to Brad, but surprisingly Brad repeats it. The last bit of humanity in Brad caught Marvin off guard, causing him to be bitten. With a brief moment of calm, Leon is able to change into his uniform. Marvin warns us that the RPD is a dangerous place and that we should be careful. We learn that the officer we got the journal from was named Elliot. Inside the journal, it contains a drawing about a secret exit within the station. To escape the RPD, you have to collect 3 medallions, one from a lion, one from a maiden, and one from a unicorn. Once you have all 3, you can place each of them into the statue in the main hall. After that, we should be able to make it to the parking garage and escape. Leon says they can find help for Marvin, but he knows it's too late for him. Marvin tells Leon that if he sees someone in uniform, don't hesitate like he did. This is the part of the game where we're finally able to explore the RPD on our own. After we find a key, Marvin asks us to return to him because he has something to show us. Marvin shows us a camera feed of Claire, who has finally made it to the station. As we're making our way to Claire, an entire helicopter crashes into the building. Thankfully, we can still get to Claire since the helicopter isn't blocking our path. The two talk for a brief moment about how they're doing. Leon doesn't have the gate key on him, so Claire is still stuck on the outside. All of a sudden, the helicopter explodes and alerts all the nearby zombies. Leon rushes Claire to get out of here before she gets hurt, and when she leaves, Leon makes his way back inside to find the medallions. We find the first medallion right behind the goddess statue on the second floor. We use the red journal that we got from Officer Elliot to unlock it. For the next statue, we're gonna have to go to the lounge on the second floor. Just like the first one, we use our journal and unlock the unicorn medallion. For the very last one, we have to first go to the STAR's office and pick up a battery. We'll combine the battery with the detonator that we found in the operation room. Once we get both of them, we head up to the third floor and enter the west storage room. We find some C4, place the detonator on it, and wait for it to explode. After it explodes, we're able to get the final medallion. Once we gather all 3, we make our way back to the main hall. Leon places all 3 of the medallions and uncovers the secret escape route. Before he heads down, he goes to check on his lieutenant for one last time. Marvin tells Leon to save himself and even pulls a gun on him. He understands that his time is up, and to prevent infecting anyone else, he has to stay behind. While searching this new area, we get attacked by this strange looking man. You might be thinking he looks somewhat familiar. Don't worry though, I'll explain who he is in just a bit. He has an arm the size of his entire body, but Leon has to fight him if he wants to get out of here. After defeating the monster, it falls down into a pit, hopefully to never be seen again. But it's a Resident Evil game, so we know he's going to be back very soon. Leon has just arrived at the parking garage, but there's one problem. The gate is locked and we won't be able to open it without a key card. Sneaking up behind Leon is an infected dog with the intention to kill. The dog tackles us to the ground, but we are saved by a mysterious woman. She flashes a badge and claims to be working for the FBI. Leon asks her what's going on, but she says it's classified and simply leaves. Now, who might this lady be? She's wearing glasses inside, and we all know how that turned out last time. Wesker betrayed his team in Resident Evil 1, so should we really trust this random person? Absolutely not. But on a serious note, this lady's name is Ada Wong. If that name doesn't ring any bells, I want you to think back to Resident Evil 1. In the underground lab, we found a letter sent from one of the scientists. He was writing to his girlfriend about how Umbrella was a terrible company and she should expose them for what they've done. The girlfriend's name, however, is Ada. It's confirmed that Ada had a relationship with an Umbrella employee back in RE1. Spoilers, Ada is a bad person and later betrays us. We continue on and make our way to some holding cells. In one of them, we find a journalist by the name of Ben. He asks if Chief Irons had sent us, but Leon didn't even know if his chief was alive. Ben hopes that Irons is already dead since he's the one who locked him up. A noise is heard down the hallway and Ben begins to freak out. He has the keycard we need for the parking garage and offers us a deal. If we let him out, he'll give it to us. But Leon declines and says he'll wait for his chief. Ben becomes angry with us, and then a hand comes through a wall and grabs him. His face is then squeezed by the hand, killing him instantly. Ada, appearing once again, takes a look at Ben's body. She says that he was her informant tasked with giving her some important info. She tells Leon to find a way out, and in return, she'll tell us what's going on. Leon's new task is to somehow get the cell open and grab the keycard. For him to do this, he has to find some parts for the power panel. We can use a crank to open the door, and inside we'll find a yellow box. If we open the box, we find one of the two missing pieces. The second one, however, is back at the RPD. Since we can't go back through the way we came in, we have to find a different path. We do some puzzles and then make it back to the main hall. We see Marvin again, but this time he's completely infected. We also went back to the helicopter that crashed before. We're able to put the fire out by using a nearby water pump, and after the fire is put out, we head back into the hallway. When we arrive, a huge man in a trench coat lifts the helicopter with one hand. This man is known as Mr. X. If you couldn't figure it out, Mr. X is another tyrant made by Umbrella. This time it's actually able to be controlled instead of having a free mind like the tyrants before. Now, Mr. X does have an actual mission. He is ordered to kill any survivors inside the RPD and retrieve a sample of the G-Virus. Our next stop is the clock tower all the way on the 3rd floor. We're chased by Mr. X the entire time, but once we make it into the room, we're safe. The clock has been broken for some time, and to get the thing we need to get it working again. After we get the clock working again, a box containing the panel piece falls over. With both parts now in hand, we make our way back to the cell and we're able to collect the key card. Leon also notices a recorder inside of Ben's pocket. He hits play and we hear an interview with an Umbrella employee named Annette. When Ben brings up the G-Virus in Umbrella's secret lab, she quickly ends the interview. While leaving the cell room, Leon is attacked by Mr. X again. We get lifted high into the air, but thankfully Ada is there to save him by ramming a SWAT van into Mr. X. The van starts moving again, but Ada sets off a bomb to make sure Mr. X is finished. She asks Leon if he has the key card and he says he does, alongside with Ben's recorder. After she listens to the tape, she says Ben didn't get the info she desired. Leon asks her what she's looking for and Ada says she wants info on the people responsible for the outbreak. Since the road is nowhere to be found, we have to pass through a nearby gun shop. The place is called Kendo's and at first the place seemed really empty. Suddenly a man walks around the corner and holds Leon at gunpoint. This is the owner of the gun shop, Kendo. His daughter also walks out from her room and she's clearly been infected. Ada says that the girl needs to be terminated, but Kendo mentions that he will handle it. With the horrifying events happening everywhere, you tend to forget that others are still out there. Kendo picks up his daughter and asks Leon and Ada for some privacy. While Leon is talking to Ada, we hear a gunshot come from the back door. We can only assume that either Kendo put his daughter to rest or he did the same for himself. Ada finally tells us her mission is to take down Umbrella completely. Leon says he will do anything to protect the city and he will help Ada. As we continue on, Ada tells us the truth behind Umbrella, posing as a pharmaceutical company, but they create bioweapons in secret. She also mentions that Umbrella possesses a virus that can turn any person into a powerful monster. The main suspect on Ada's list is Annette Birkin. She's the same person that Ben was interviewing in that recording, and she's also the wife of William Birkin. Now, a lot of things show that William was very involved in the events at Raccoon City. So, where has he been this whole time? Well, we've already seen him. That man with the huge arm was actually him. Later in the game, we find Annette and she tells us that William was dying. To save himself, he injected himself with the G-Virus, causing him to mutate. Ada tells us that traveling through the sewers would be the fastest way to reach the lab. While we make our way to the sewers, the walls around us begin to shake. It eventually goes away until we jump down into some sewer water. The shaking begins again and suddenly a giant alligator starts chasing Leon. While running, we have to avoid hitting piles of trash to not get eaten. We're able to slide under a pipe containing flammable gas. Leon then shoots the tank, blowing up the head of the monster alligator. We manage to find Annette and Ada tells her to hand over the G-Virus. Annette declines and runs away while shooting at Leon and Ada. Leon jumps to protect Ada and in the process he is hit in the shoulder. He tells Ada to press on without him and then he falls unconscious. She patches Leon's wounds and takes off her trench coat, revealing a red dress. In this part of the game we get to switch over and play as Ada. She radios in that she is now after Annette and the person on the other side is unknown. She's most likely talking to Albert Wesker, but to some of you that doesn't make sense. If you played the 4th game then you probably know what I'm getting this from. We eventually find Annette and spot her going through a secret room. Ada is equipped with an EMF visualizer and it allows her to hack through doors and catch up. In the next room we find a giant furnace and a very needed wristband. Right after picking it up, Annette closes the door on us, locking us in. She turns the furnace on and we have exactly 1 minute to escape. After Ada is able to hack all 3 generators, the door blasts back open. With our new wristband we can go through doors specifically for visitor clearance. We once again find Annette and she once again tries to kill us. This time however she tries smushing us with a giant crusher. Ada is able to dodge it in time, but she is thrown into a pit filled with trash. In the process of her falling, she gets her leg impaled by a sharp object. As she passes out, we cut back to Leon who is just now waking back up. Annette is gone and Ada is nowhere to be found. Leon is clearly hurt, but he doesn't really have a choice but to keep on moving. Leon runs into monsters known as G-Adults. These things are people infected with the G-Virus instead of the T-Virus. You've probably heard me say the G-Virus about 1,000,000 times by now, and you most likely don't even know know what it is. Well, first came the T-virus, and this is what turned people into zombies. Then comes William Birkin, and he created a virus that does the exact opposite. When you get injected with the G-virus, your cells constantly grow and regenerate, and your body never stops mutating. You continue to evolve, and it is extremely painful. As Leon pushes forward, he finds his biggest obstacle yet: chess pieces. Around the sewers, Leon has to find several different chess plugs. He would then use them in the control room, where he sees Ada unconscious in the room below. While exploring, Leon is also able to find a recording by the Umbrella Security Service team. In the tape, we see a mutated Birkin attacking the security team. We also see a briefcase containing what seems to be vials of the G-virus. To keep the virus from ever reaching Umbrella, Birkin eats them and consumes them all. We also find another tape later inside the nest, and in this one we see Birkin being gunned down. The tape starts out with him being watched, and he grabs as many vials as he can. The same team from before surrounds him and tells him to turn over the briefcase. He doesn't want to turn over his life's work, so he won't go out without a fight. He was supposed to be brought in alive, but one of the members shot and killed him. They left him there to die, but that's not where his story ended. Back with Leon, he has finally collected all the chess pieces. Once he places them in the correct spot, he then heads down to open the trash disposal. It won't open with any power, so Leon heads to the power room to turn it on. Once power is restored, Birkin once again comes to attack us. After running away, we eventually walk into a room with a giant crane. We use the crane to hit William down another pit, and since it's a Resident Evil game, he'll definitely be coming back once more. Once Leon is able to get to Ada, he's able to remove the object in her leg. He patches her up, and she tells us we need to head to the underground lab. Leon says that he can't wait for the FBI to barge into Umbrella headquarters and bring them down. Ada agrees, but says he's not working in official capacity and reminds him that this is a federal case. Once Ada gets the G-virus, she's back on her own. She then asks Leon if he trusts her, and if anyone has to ask you if you trust them, you probably shouldn't. Now it's time that I revealed the truth about Ada. She doesn't actually work with the FBI. She's a mercenary, meaning that she works under a contract. We learn all of this later in the game when Annette tells Leon that he shouldn't trust Ada. Annette knows the truth about Ada, but Leon is too blinded to believe it. She's been manipulating him this entire time just to get the G-virus. We finally arrive at the nest, and Leon quickly gets to work while Ada stays behind. Throughout the nest, we find many areas where Umbrella used to test the viruses. In one of these areas, we find a giant plant room. This plant is named Plant 43, and it's the upgrade to the plant we fought back in Resident Evil 1. Leon has to find a way to destroy the plant in order to upgrade the wristband that we got from Ada. To do this, we have to create a liquid and spray it onto the plant. Once the plant is weaker, we run through and pick up the electronic chip that gives us access to senior staff rooms. Mr. X once again appears out of nowhere to chase us. While we run away, we have to dodge these weird looking plant monsters. These are called Ivies, and they're the result of humans being mutated by Plant 43. Up until this point, they weren't able to be killed because Plant 43 was still around. We unlock another part of the nest, and here's where we find the other videotape. We also find the last remaining vial of the G-virus. If it seemed a lot easier than you expect, then you would be right. After taking the virus, a self-destruct alert begins to go off. As we try to escape, William falls from the ceiling and Annette runs in as well. She shoots him with some sort of liquid and finishes him with just 2 shots. Leon asks why she calls the monster William, and she tells us that it should have never been this way. She blames Umbrella for this and tells us everything. Here's where we see Birkin inject himself with the G-virus. They never intended it to be used this way, but she's still responsible. While Leon and Annette argue, William wakes back up and grabs Annette. He throws her at a nearby wall, and he mutates by growing another arm. We get lowered into some sort of boss fight area that looks like a bioreactor room. William has these orange eyes all around his body, and these are his weak points. After a very long fight, we're finally able to defeat William. The alarm for the self-destruct sequence is still going off, and we need to make it out of here. We check back up on Annette, and she is injured badly and pleads for Leon to destroy the sample. He says no, since it's going to be used as evidence for the FBI. Earlier I talked about Ada lying and working with the FBI, and this is a part I was talking about. Leon finds it hard to believe, and he's right not to believe her since she tried killing us multiple times. Annette lies down and says that she hopes we're right. We eventually find Ada, and something has changed about Leon. He questions if she actually works for the FBI, and we get to see Ada's real side. She hoped it didn't have to get to this point, but here we are. They both have guns pointed at each other, telling them to drop it. Leon then tests Ada if she would actually shoot him, and she can't bring herself to do it. All of a sudden, Ada is shot by Annette, who is somehow still alive. The bridge collapses, causing Ada and the virus to both fall over the ledge. Leon catches Ada, but the G-virus falls down into the abyss, never to be found again. Ada begins to slip and tells Leon to take care of himself. He loses his grip, and Ada falls into the pit. And don't be sad, she literally comes back a few seconds later. The self-destruct sequence has officially started, and we now have 10 minutes to escape. We take the central elevator to descend all the way down to a control room. On one of the cameras, we spot somebody, and it turns out to be Claire. She's also down here in this mess, but the call begins to turn to static. Leon makes a run for it, but is grabbed again by Mr. Mr. X. The pipes around them begin to explode and Leon is able to break free. Mr. X is continuously hit by fire as Leon is able to find a lift that will take him out of here. The lift is activated and we are finally able to be free. That is until Mr. X appears for a final fight looking a lot stronger than before. He looks this way because his coat he was wearing was destroyed in the explosion. It acted as a power limiter and now that he's gone he can go all out. Umbrella made this for the tyrant so he doesn't get too strong and uncontrollable. During the fight we see a box containing a rocket launcher sliding down to us. The one who sent it to us is none other than Ada and she calls it even. With just one rocket to the chest we're able to kill Mr. X. The lift makes it to the bottom, we now have to run and catch a train. Luckily Leon is able to make it aboard and he is finally safe. Inside he meets back up with Claire and a little girl. We don't know who she is unless we play Claire's part in just a second. And that's it, Leon's story is now finished. We do have one more part to go through though, and that is Claire's part. We're gonna fast forward a bit until we get to this part. Here we meet a little girl hidden in the room and she warns us about something behind us. It turns out to be Birkin and just like in Leon's story we have to fight him. After defeating William, he falls over the ledge and Claire lets the girl know it's safe to come out. Before she lets down the ladder, she asks us if we can help her find her mom. Surprised that she would still be down here, we still offer to help look. While we're walking with this little girl, she tells us that her mom actually works for Umbrella. She's busy creating a new medicine and her mom is always working on it. We find out that both of Claire's parents are also gone and it's just her and Chris now. We climb up a ladder and make our way into the parking garage. We walk up to the locked gate and find out we need a key card to open it. A strange man calls out to the little girl and we find out her name is Sherry. He suddenly pulls out a gun and aims it at us. He tells Sherry to tie her hands and threatens to kill us if she doesn't. He's able to take Sherry away while continuing to aim the gun at us the whole time. We see Sherry drop something and we manage to get the cuffs off, but it's too late. We pick up the thing that Sherry dropped and venture off to find the key card. Right before we pick it up, the phone beside us starts to ring. It's the man from earlier who had taken Sherry. He says that we have some unfinished business and tells Claire to meet him at the orphanage. After hanging up the phone, he says he would have let Sherry go if she just hadn't dropped the necklace. The same necklace that Claire picked up in the parking garage. We figure out the man who's taken Sherry is Chief Irons, the same man who took bribes from Umbrella and locked up Ben from Leon's story. We're now able to play as Sherry and we have to figure out a way to escape the orphanage. As we're about to grab the keys, Chief Irons finds us and he tries to teach us some manners. Sherry quickly throws a bottle of acid at his face, causing him to have severe burns. Now even angry, he hunts us down, but the burns start to get to him. He unlocks a bathroom to wash his face off, leaving the keys out in the open. We grab them and make a run for it with Irons right behind us. He eventually catches up to us and lifts us up in the air. Unfortunately, standing right behind Chief Irons is the transformed William. He inserts something into his mouth and it burrows deeper into Chief Irons. We cut back to Claire and she has just arrived at the orphanage. While searching for Sherry, we get attacked by Irons, but his stomach isn't feeling too well. A thing comes flying out of his stomach and kills Iron for good. We do find Sherry down in the basement and out comes Mr. X again. He chases us to an elevator and he tries to rip open the door. However, William saves us by stabbing Mr. X through the chest. Sherry yells out to the monster attacking them and reveals that it's her dad. Claire passes out from the elevator crash but is soon woken up by a woman. The woman who found us is Annette Birkin. We continue to ask Annette about Sherry, but she ignores us the whole time. After we keep asking her about what happened to Sherry, she tells us that her daughter isn't our concern. Sherry's being kept inside the same trash area that Ada was found in. When we arrived at Sherry, we noticed that a huge mark is on her eye. Annette is watching from the cameras and tells us that Sherry has been implanted and she can't be saved. Seconds later, Annette reconsiders and tells us that she can be cured. In her lab, they have a serum that can kill the parasite and save Sherry. On our way down, Claire shows the necklace to Sherry, but she doesn't want it. It was a birthday gift from her mom, but she didn't like it. All she ever wanted was her mom to actually be there for her. Once inside the nest, we're able to find the location of where the serum is being kept. All along, Sherry's necklace was actually a key. We insert it into the same spot where Leon finds the last G-Virus sample. After picking up the sample, we get to the part where we fight William one last time. However, it's different this time. We give Annette the serum to take to Sherry and Claire offers to fight William. After quickly dealing with William, we run back to find Sherry. We find Sherry laying down and her mom is right next to her. She looks a lot better than she did, but we can't say the same for Annette. She's hurt badly and it doesn't look like she's gonna make it. She lets us know that Sherry is no longer infected with the G-Virus and says her final words. She tells Sherry that she is sorry. Sorry for everything. The place begins to crumble and we hear the self-destruct sequence go off. We make it to a train, but it doesn't have any power yet. Once we get it online, we see Leon on the other side of a telescreen. Just like in his playthrough, the screen begins to break up and turn to static. But we can't waste any time. We use the giant elevator to go down to the very bottom of the lab. Apparently William is still alive and somehow even uglier than before. He's turned into a giant amalgamation of eyes and body parts, and after a while we're able to defeat him for the very last time. Hopefully. We make it to the bottom of the elevator and the train takes off. The two have finally escaped the horrors of Raccoon City. Joining them is also Leon, who was able to catch the train before it was too late. Leon asks who the little girl is, and while Claire introduces her, the train rattles violently. Leon offers to stay back while Claire goes to investigate what had happened. At the back of the train, we find a door that begins to break. It eventually breaks open and reveals that William has evolved into a wall of flesh. Completely ridden of all his human attributes, he has become an absolute monster. He's far too strong to kill with just normal bullets, so Leon tries to lose the car. He begins by kicking the lock that holds both cars together. Behind them is the explosion from the lab that is slowly catching up to them. As Leon breaks the lock, Claire stabs William in his giant eye. She jumps back to safety with Leon and Sherry as the monster falls back into the fire. With one last explosion, William Birkin is finally dead. We make it above ground and we are finally free. As they are walking, Sherry spots a truck driver in the distance. Leon stands in the middle of the road hoping that the trucker would stop for them. Unfortunately, the trucker doesn't stop but just gives Leon the bird and rides on. And there you have it, the complete story of Resident Evil 2. This game is possibly my favorite Resident Evil game and I really enjoyed making this video. But that's going to be all for today. If you did enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It would certainly help out a lot. Until next time, where we explore Raccoon City from yet another perspective in Resident Evil 3.